There's one thing. Celtic play Rangers tomorrow. The defence better not be late. That's one thing that's for sure. Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up to reach as many Celtic fans as possible. Before we get into tomorrow's Celtic Rangers game at Celtic Park, Celtic fans have been given a little bit of information. May the 25th is synonymous with Celtic history. As we all know, it was the day that Celtic won the big cup and they brought it home. Yes, it's the day that Celtic won the big cup back in 1967. But Celtic fans will not be able to go to that stadium in Lisbon on the 18th, the 19th, the 25th, and the 26th of June. Also, the 7th and the 10th, because of the National Cup final and the national team match against Croatia. John Paul Taylor was sent a message on Twitter by the Portuguese FA because they know how many Celtic fans tend to, especially ones that are based in Europe. Could you imagine the ones that are in Portugal and in and around that area? If they did win the Scottish Cup on the 25th of May, how many of them would then descend on that stadium, that iconic stadium, just to be there that same day that Celtic could possibly win the Scottish Cup? There would be absolutely hundreds, I'm sure. Anyway, let's get back on to the main topic of conversation for the next couple of videos. There will be this video this morning, there'll be another one this afternoon, and then there'll be the live this evening. We are going all in today because the big game is tomorrow, and then there'll be the video first thing tomorrow morning and the live before the game also. So you're going to be around about 5 videos in the next 24 hours. Strap in, it's going to be a good one. Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers can take his sides to Celtic Park tomorrow. They'll go away to the hotel tonight. They can take the team to Celtic Park tomorrow, knowing that they've got almost one hand on the trophy, one hand on the Scottish League if they beat Rangers tomorrow. We're going to be in front of 60,000 fans, 60,000 Celtic fans, and if we get off to the same start as we did at Ibrox, you've got to remember, Dyson Maida had a cracking first 30 seconds at Ibrox. If he could do the same, but there's a warning. There is a warning. So what does Brendan Rodgers have to do to basically break Rangers tomorrow? He has to do the same as what we did at Ibrox a few weeks ago, but there is a warning because if you look at the game against Hearts almost got us with a sucker punch in the first minute or so. So we need to watch out for that. Rangers players, they'll say that they're in confidence because they are going for a treble, but I think the signs are there that they're starting to crack. I think the signs are there that they're starting to crack. What Celtic must avoid tomorrow is any defensive lapses. And we know that Celtic have had many defensive lapses, and people will point the finger at Scales and say he's obviously the weak point in that defence. When it comes to transfers and everything, there's going to be weeks to talk about that in the future. But from a worrying perspective, especially the last game against Hearts, we almost did fall behind at the beginning, but we didn't. So, we just need to watch out for that. And the fact that we did ship 3 goals against that lot at Ibrox, which was a bit disappointing considering the start we had. I mean, we were going into half-time, and you're thinking, there's only one team winning this. I was confident there's only one team winning this, and I certainly didn't see them coming back and getting a draw out of the match. There were obviously doubts against Dyson Maida that game, but he's over that and he's back at his best. Dyson Maida, he's a player that we need to just throw at them. Get him running at Tavernier, and there's only one winner, isn't there? There is only one winner, sir. Dyson can't miss out this game. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about that later once we've had the manager's press conference today, but we'll be going live just after the manager's press conference, so make sure that you join the channel for that. I don't know if I'll do a live or if we'll just do a video. Yeah, we'll go live. We'll go live just after the manager's press conference today, and then we'll talk about everything at 8 p.m. Celtic Park time tonight. We'll talk about everything and look forward to the day tomorrow, so make sure that you do join us for that. Let's face it, there's not going to be many people out on the piss tonight because you want to be fresh for tomorrow, don't you? You want to be really fresh for tomorrow. The fact that Celtic can basically put to bed the league tomorrow, we need to start James Forrest. We need to start James Forrest on one side and Dyson Maida on the other. Give us that pace, that directness, that goal threat from James, and the absolute menacing from Dyson Maida. We can scare the living daylights out of them with the lineup. And then obviously in the midfield, it's just going to be the normal 3. Since climbing off the bench against Aberdeen, James Forrest has been absolutely fantastic. I think when it came to the Aberdeen game, I think it was James's second or third touch on the ball when he had the ball in the back of the net. James Forrest knows how and when to cut in as a winger, and that experience is what we need at this time of the season. A lot of people are saying that, oh yeah, James is past it. No, he's not. Hold my pint, James will do it. Fairless to Nico Kuhn and the one and only Louis Palmer, they're just not at the same levels, are they? They're just not at the same levels of either Dyson Maida or James Forrest. I mean, so we need to basically get them and attacking. They're going to do the long balls. Brendan Rodgers will talk about that. They'll try and do the long balls over the top of us and try and hit us on the break. Try and get the Silva, who'll go down tomorrow like a sack of totties and a whore's knickers. He'll go down as easy as that tomorrow. And it will be the threat from... They'll try and get as many free kicks outside the box. They'll try and get corners and they'll try and get a penalty, obviously. It wouldn't be them if they try and get a penalty, did they? So, with that being said, it's all eyes on Brendan now this afternoon. It is all eyes on Brendan to see what he says about the players, the fitness of the players. And he'll be asked also about the connection with Liam Kelly from Motherwell. He'll get asked about that today, no doubt. There has been speculation that Celtic will go. And there's one thing that's actually been worrying me. We know the fact that Benji Siegrist is on his way out the door. But I've had a really scary thought. What if Scott Baines turned around and said, do you know what? I'm getting towards the end of my career. I need to start playing football. Do you really want to be the player that was known for not kicking a ball throughout your whole career but won medals? I mean, you're bound to get slagged after in the pub at that, aren't you? He's like, look at all my medals. And your mate's like, fuck off. You never fucking played a game for them. Sure. It must happen to Big Benny, must it? It's like, all right, champions again. Like, fuck off, Ben. You never kicked a ball all season. Shut up, sit down, get us a pint in, you fucking big golf. It has to happen to him, surely. But I had a really bad thought. Well, it wasn't. Is it a bad thought? But maybe that's why Celtic are trying to get this other Scottish goalkeeper in the name of Kelly. Because we need to keep as many Scottish contingents as possible going into Europe. But it was just a little thing in the background. Went, what if we're all saying that Benji Siegrist is the one that's going to leave? What if it's not? What if it's Bain that's wanting out the door? What if Bain's saying, like, Gaffer, I need to play football. I'm at the age of my career where my mates are slagging me off stuff. But anyway, you never know. It's probably not. We do know that Bain and the manager does see Bain as a cracking second choice goalkeeper. But it's just something that crossed my mind. So tell me what you think in the comments section. And the thing is, for me tomorrow, there's 3 key players that haven't had much game time together this season when you think about it. And it is Callum McGregor, Matt O'Reilly, and the one and only Rio Hatate. If those 3 click tomorrow, right, and then your 2 wingers click, we're going to absolutely annoy them. I mean, the fact that Barry Ferguson's in the paper saying, we need to take out Callum McGregor, we need to crunch him. Mate, it's the 2020s. It's no the 1990s where you can get away with that kind of shit. And football players these days, you know, they've not really... I mean, you look at little Kyogo, he puts a tackle in, he goes and shakes hands with them, the opposition player. And that's just shown Barry Ferguson, and we all know what that lot are like anyway. Do you know, they have that violent tendencies, and Barry Ferguson's just getting a mouth to spout in the media. I think when we look at tomorrow's game, which we'll discuss in depth tonight at 8 p.m. Celtic Park time, I think when you look at it, when we get that midfield in together, they're going to have a fantastic game. Rio Hatate, for me, is maybe the one that is not as up to pace, but he has got such a goal threat. He likes to have a shot from goal, and I think that, you know, he rises to the occasion tomorrow. Callum will be up for it. Matt O'Reilly knows that he has to go out on a high. Matt O'Reilly knows that he has to be up and he has to pull in the performances if he wants to get the massive move that's on the cards for him this summer from Celtic, and there'll be the clubs that will be lining up in Europe to take him. So he knows that tomorrow is the big stage as far as he's concerned. It is massive. It's a massive game for Matt O'Reilly because he knows that TV cameras will be watching him. He knows that scouts will be watching them at that game. And he knows that people will be watching it from all around Europe. And so, to me, in the back of Matt O'Reilly's head, he knows that he has to go out and perform. Not because he knows the transfer's there, because he knows that if he does it on the pitch tomorrow, and especially that cross that he did for Kyogo the other week, that was just sublime. That was sublime. The one that came out from Scales to O'Reilly, Kyogo, goal. I'll have some of that tomorrow. And on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans. See you in a couple of hours.